Good morning. It's Bubba Da Vinci, aka just Bubba, with your morning cup of coffee. Um, Almost got the transitions right this morning. God, there's so many buttons to click on here. I really thought it was just going to roll into my camera and Mike was going to come on, and I got it about 85-90%. So by the time this is actually for real, I believe I should be rocking it. So I have a couple of people joining today. Farm Don, good morning. Thank you for joining. Pushing Pills, hey, thank you for joining for the first time. Don't forget to hit follow, please, as part of this. And by all means, go do whatever you need to do because, again, we're still in test mode. So we are on day 3. Some interesting happenings yesterday overall. I'll be happy to go over them. So as you guys know, coffee with Bubba is a little bit about spilling the tea, but mostly about sitting around and having a cup of coffee with some friends like the people that are on right now and chatting about what's going on. Chat about my journey that I'm trying to take right now with I'm going to call it the holistic or natural way to fight diabetes. That's part of the interesting story today. And just whatever topics come up that people decide that they want to share. It's always going to be interesting, I think. I will get better at doing all this stuff. I will learn to I'm getting warnings for potential thunderstorms and tornadoes right now. That's a whole segment in itself. Farm Don knows what I'm talking about. Farm Don has gone through a couple of actually a tornado too as well, but I think they had a tornado. But we're talking massive storms that have been hitting all over the U.S. It's been pretty dangerous. I'm in a position right now to be thinking about whether I tear down my house because the amount of damage that I've received over the last 2 storms is mounting up to where if I get it repaired, the value of the house will not be equal to the amount of money I'm spending for the repairs. And that's a conversation we can have later on. It's kind of an interesting one when you live in the Midwest and you buy a house that's 100 years old. It always seems like a great thing to do, but it doesn't always a great thing. So let's start off with getting my cup of coffee for this morning. I've almost got my setup right here. I've set up a table in the background. I think it's going to have to move. It's going to shift either left or right. So that way my table's always viewable from the background. And then I'm going to have a drop down camera set up as part of my setup that will enable me that when I have a product placement or we're talking about a product to be able to have that camera on there. Again, this setup is being modified from a gaming esports monitoring setup, running gaming tournaments and everything else. And the combination of that and a business setup, and I've moved everything around and I'm trying to cobble together I'm actually going to have to move this way because I realized how far away I went from the mic. But it basically has kind of changed or altered the way that the system's set up. I don't know if this will work 100%, but it's looking pretty good. Need to get some decorations and everything over there that add a little style to it. So yesterday we tried the Rise mushroom matcha. It was better than I thought. It was mild. I did find out that I have been mixing everything with 16 ounces of water because I don't like the strong flavors of most of these mushroom drinks. And they all recommend 8 to 10 ounces of water. I do 16, so I get a better watered down flavor because I usually drink a lot of my stuff black or plain. Almost all of these drinks tell you to go ahead and add your own sweeteners and drinks. I'm diabetic. Part of this process is to find a sweetener that is recommended, that doesn't do a lot of additional damage, to what's going on, and which is my body not fighting the diabetes or trying to assimilate to the different things that we're doing. And so I haven't gotten to where I can actually start doctoring these up yet. I'm still working on a straight do everything as plain as possible, at least during this liquid diet phase. So I didn't want to try 2 ounces with the matcha. A, it doesn't give me a full cup of coffee. That's a very little matcha. And B, didn't want to add any sweetener. So what I did today, which is, we talked about it, for diabetics, a recommendation and something that really supposedly works is a daily tablespoon, and I'm going to confirm that here in a second, a daily tablespoon of cinnamon. So I was able to get a bag of organic cinnamon. And what I did today was I mixed in with 2 tablespoons of matcha, because yesterday with 1 tablespoon, it wasn't bad. 2 tablespoons of matcha. I added a half a tablespoon of cinnamon. Haven't tried it yet. This will give me, and here's the thing is, I have to drink this stuff down. So if whatever I do tastes like crap, it's crap, right? I'm going to have to drink it. And because I don't want to waste it. All this stuff is very, not very expensive, but more expensive than a standard cup of coffee. And we'll eventually get to where I find something that is spot on, and I'll tell you what I like, but you can obviously do it there. I will say, enjoying the rise so far. Again, from medicinals doing things for me, we'll talk about that at end of the week. But overall so far it's pretty good. So let me pour my cup of coffee, and while I'm doing that, we'll get into the topics of the day. Now, interestingly enough, my cable for my headset is, and everybody knows, I got one of these hydro flasks. I use this hydro flask all the time for hot drinks. I'm also using it as my shaker, to just make it a little more convenient. Oof. Okay. No matter what you put in it, even a half a tablespoon of cinnamon, this still smells like mushrooms growing on what it grows on. All right. We always do this. I'm pouring. Oops. I need to get a little higher there. It is now more of a muddy brown than a green. I don't know why I keep sniffing it. I keep hoping that it's going to smell better the next time, but that's just stupid. All right, so let me see if I can do this. So here's what we're looking at. Here's once again my Space Force cup. It's a muddy brown. The green that was part of the matcha yesterday has completely disappeared, I think, in the brown of the cinnamon. Here's our first taste of the day, which is kind of one of the things that we do on the samplings. Much better. Wow. If I had just a tad of sweetener in it, and maybe I used a coconut milk or something to give it a little milky flavor, this would actually be pretty good. The cinnamon, half a tablespoon of cinnamon really takes over the taste of everything. So this is actually almost like a cup of tea. So when it cools down here in a minute, I think I'll be able to deal with that. All right, let's jump into the topics of the day. So some really interesting things going on. We've been covering the Olympic count. Kind of a disappointing run for the Olympics yesterday. China is at the number 1 spot with overall medals, a total of 15, with 7 gold, 6 silver, and 2 bronze. United States has dropped way down to number 7, but in the number 2 spot was taken up by Japan. Also 7 gold medals, 2 silver, 4 bronze, total of 13. France is rocking it with 20 total medals in 3rd place, but only 6 gold, 9 of them of silver, and 5 are bronze. Great Britain, the UK, is at 4th place with 6, 5, and 5, total of 16. 5th place is Australia with 6, 4, 1, 11. Korea is now at 6th, which is 5, 3, 3, 11. And the United States at a miserable number 7, 4, 11, 11 for a total of 26. So it looks like we may be in first place for total number of medals. And if you remember when I started doing the medal counts, I said, look, you could play this game any way you want. I could have gone on here and hit how it rates the medals, and America could be number 1 by saying we have 26 medals. In my opinion, it's not the total number of medals you have, it's the total number of gold, right? And that's how I have this set up. And so, if you're not rocking the gold, and I also want to say to all the Olympians, not that any of them are watching, but to be participating at this level anyway is amazing. If you get a medal, whether it's silver or bronze, silver or gold, you should be proud of wearing that medal around your neck. And if you are participating in the Olympics, you should be thrilled that you're even there, that you are good enough to represent your country. So thank you for that and everything else. That being said, gold is what everybody's striving for. So again, America dropped down to 4th. The 8th spot is taken up by Italy, 3, 5, 4, a total of 12. Kenyatta, our Canadian friends, which none of them are on right now, 2, 2, 2, a total of 6. Germany rounds the thing out at number 10, 2, 0, 1 for a total of 3. So those are your Olympic numbers today. I actually tried to capture this and move it and add it as something that would pop up on the screen. When I was testing it earlier, it looked bad, and apparently the image that you get from whatever news source it was, when I captured it and I put it on there, it was marked with all the imagery to say that it was owned by someone else. So I've already gotten pinged once for violation of copyright. Copyright is both written and audio and video, as opposed to trademark. So I've been attempting not to do anything that's going to cause me issues as I'm building this stream. And so even though it's just a list of the medals, I could have retyped it. It wasn't worth posting it today, and I can read them off. So and again, since my entire group is friends and family, and 3 of the people are family that are on here that are on different channels, and they're not watching anyway. They're getting ready for work or school or whatever they're doing. It didn't matter. So anyway, let's hope that the numbers are better tomorrow. Additionally, in the news, so this is something I definitely want to talk about. I don't know if you guys pay attention to a lot of this stuff. There's 2 major things, at least in the orb of my world, that I thought were pretty important. Whether you support Israel or support Palestine, we don't want to get into too many politics here. The atrocities that are going over there are horrible. And countries fight. I mean, Ukraine, Russia. That's unfortunately part of human nature. I wish it wasn't. But things go on, and skirmishes and wars happen. What I hate about war and these fights and the things that go on is when the innocents get thrown in the mix. If 2 countries want to go head to head, and two countries and soldiers want to shoot each other, and they do things. When you become a soldier, it's part of your job. You take an oath to defend your country. They send you in. You do what you're supposed to do, and you know, we hope and pray that you come back. But that is the role of being a soldier. Kind of like being a first responder or a police officer. The reason why we should praise them and thank them and everything else is when they take that job, they are taking the role of first responder, and with that comes not only responsibility but danger. And when someone passes or someone gets hurt, you mourn for them, you mourn for their family, you feel for them, but again, they understood the responsibility and the things that could happen. Where it becomes bad, in my opinion, or becomes worse, in my opinion, because the entire situation is bad, is when either participant in the conflict decides that they are going to hurt the other party by doing something that that hits below the belt, that hurts civilians, that causes things. And a lot of that is to cause fear, and to escalate a conflict or to bring someone into a conflict, i.e. bombing of Pearl Harbor, September 11th, things like that. And so in the last 24 hours, Hamas, killed several children who were playing in a soccer field, and pretty brutally. But prior to that, there were the two Israeli girls that were at a rave or a dance, and they were killed. And with those young ladies, I wouldn't even call them, good Jews. Good Jews being, Orthodox. They were young ladies that were out going to do something, and an opportunity was found, and it's like, okay, let's hurt civilians. That's horrible. And it did exactly what they wanted it to do. It escalated everything. Then what ends up happening is the Israelis feel like they need to go do anything. So, the Israelis strike Lebanon. And, I've heard, I don't know, I haven't read for sure if it's true, but supposedly the Israelis may have killed one of the Hamas leaders. So it says a Hamas political leader was killed in a pre-dawn airstrike in the Iranian capital of Tehran, only hours after Israeli targeted top commander. This thing is escalating. We're still, but I mean, people forget about it, but we're still in a situation right now with Ukraine and Russia. I blame a lot of this on the issue between the Democrats and the Republicans here in the United States. I think that people think we're weak right now. I would agree with them that we look weak right now. We also look crazy, just played out crazy. And I don't know how we get out of this or what we do. I'm not going to get into the politics of each side, their pros, their cons. I think both sides are complete idiots right now. I think, neither one of them really are addressing major topics that we need to do, is what I meant to say. And I think it's ridiculous. And it's just the talking head saying the same thing and trying to push agendas. And this should be a sign that we need to start figuring out what we're going to do quickly, because um, Israel and the entire Middle East situation blowing up. Ukraine and Russia, bad. Segue. The second thing I wanted to talk to you about, which again shows our weakness and everything else, is for the first time in history, the Russians and the Chinese teamed up for joint exercises, nuclear exercises. The Chinese flew their bombers over into Russia, and they did a bombing mission towards the United States, towards the Alaskan border. So both Japanese, I apologize, Chinese and Russian bombers. Now, the thing you need to note is, one, they told everybody they were going to do this, so there were no surprises. Two is they had no bombs on these planes. So there could be no way that the United States or Canada could see this as a direct first strike effort, right? So, I mean, and not only did they make the announcement that they were going to do this, but they made sure they had cameras on all their planes, and they were posting videos of the runs of the exercises from their planes, including when they actually did it. I think that both Canada and the United States didn't believe they would actually do this, move into international waters towards our airspace. When they actually got in the air and they were actually over international waters, the U.S. and Canada scrambled fighter jets. The United States, of course, took video footage from their side, which was posted all over the internet. And the Russians and the Chinese posted video of the jets flying around them from their planes. And it really was embarrassing. I mean, it was smart that we scrambled. Thank God our Air Force was ready to go, and they were up and near those planes in moments. Canada did their thing, and they got up there too, because what you have to realize is the Bering Strait is very small. You get over Alaska and everything else, it's a straight run to Canada. It's a straight run down the United States. They're in our space very quickly, and you get several bombers starting to drop. You got things going, right? But it was definitely a show of power. It also shows a unification. So, China has been doing a lot of this over the last couple of years around Taiwan, around Japan, showing their new military might, long-range bombers, new fifth-generation jets, new submarines, new naval fleet. We'll get into China one day just as a kind of an interesting topic, maybe. But anyway, that was super interesting. Now, on top of that, since then, the exercises have moved on, where the Russian military is beginning its third round of drills to train troops on tactical nuclear weapons. These are not bombs that you drop and they go out there. Tactical nuclear weapons are usually guided and precise, and are usually fired from a longer range, not from a plane going over. You have tactical missiles on submarines. You have tactical missiles on moving platforms, things like that. This shows an escalation in the thought process of both China and Russia. And we should be concerned without a leader in place that is strong and is feared as well as respected, and that is willing to deal with these issues. Now we have to deal with our own issues internally first, but Russia's been fighting a war in Ukraine for 2 years. The Ukrainians are doing a great job at keeping them at bay. And the amount of things that, the amount of military personnel they have gone through and lost, and equipment they have gone through and lost, it is at a point now where they may be thinking we might have to be bringing out some bigger guns, a la a tactical nuke, right? And and I don't think Russia fears about bringing everybody into a bigger war, especially if you have China saying, we got your back, we got the equipment, we have everything, we will sell you or give you this if you support us here, here, and here, right? Now, again, not a lawyer, not a doctor, and not a political or geo-tactical analyst, right? This is just, and once again, the idea of a coffee clutch is a bunch of people sitting around that have really no knowledge of anything. They're just talking about the topics of the day, and it's like a jailhouse lawyer, right? You just pulling shit out of your fourth end of contact, and just leaving it out there for everybody else. And if you talk with enough authority, people believe what you're doing. I don't know. I think my screen just froze up. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Yep. I locked up. Well, there we go. Wow. I have no idea. I just heard a thunderclap and my internet might have just froze. It looked like it was just doing it again. I can hear I don't know if you guys can hear it. These storms are going to be coming in, and that's just, I even see I'm lagging. I need to, while we're sitting here talking, I'm going to do a speed test. The problem with living in rural Iowa is that as you live in rural Iowa, the internet, oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm having a problem. The internet is bad already. And then when storms come in, or when the winter comes, hits, lines freeze up, fiber freezes up. Yeah, I don't know if you guys are catching this, but hello, there I am again. Yeah, I'm hitting bare minimum right now for doing this stream. So I apologize. Luckily the show's already underway, and we'll just deal with it. Okay, well, it is what it is. All right. So anyway, that's a concern. We need to keep an eye on it. This election is very, very important. So vote. I don't care what side you vote for. Let's get someone in office and start handling these bigger solutions. I was going to go into the Fed. The Fed is not affecting. It's doing interest rates. We talked about Venezuela yesterday at a 50% inflation. We're not at 50%, but the Fed's not moving anything, which affects what I do, my business. When interest rates are high, companies are not spending money. And especially on marketing and things like that, the general population doesn't spend as much money, and I deal with products, the sale of and promotion of people and products. And if people aren't promoting either, then I'm not a happy man. But all right. So that's our morning segment for what's new in the world. I don't know. I'll come up with something. All right, let's talk about what's going on with me in the diabetic journey. So yesterday was interesting. I did my stream. We're still doing the Rise coffee. That's my morning, and then today will be my first entrance into having a breakfast shake today. then more bone broth in the afternoon for lunch, and then dinner, which will be a larger quantity of bone broth. The bone broth I'm making today is spinach and mushroom in my dinner bone broth. That's actually cooking right now, and then I'll set that aside for dinner, and then lunch will be just the plain beef bone broth. So today is the start of day 3. So the first 2 days went by. The interesting thing about yesterday was, after I finished the stream, I went outside, went and fed the animals, put out stuff for goats, handled the dogs, cats, just all the animals. And that actually takes some exertion, right? You're throwing out a bales of hay, you're, huffing out your feed. More than that, I am, one second. I'm not sure where that came from. Like I said, I'm getting alerts on storms, and I want to make sure. And then one of the big things I have to do is, because of the storm, my water source out for the bigger animals out in the field is gone. It got wiped out. And a new one's going to have to get put in before winter gets here. But with all the other repairs that I'm having to do, I have not done that. So on a daily basis, either myself and it's basically been me, because my daughter had surgery recently. My daughter has to fill water containers and take fresh water out to the other animals. And we're talking about 25, 30 gallons of water. It's a lot of work. And so, but it has to be done daily. Now, when you are on a liquid diet and you first started, I think I talked about this, your first couple of days, your body goes into a hunger effect. Then it starts eating itself. And one of the things it starts doing is it goes into a fear that, oh my God, you don't have enough food, you're going to starve. And it starts shutting things down to save whatever the stores it has, because it doesn't know how long this is going to go on. And normally that effect is you feel a little bit tired, you might feel a little bit sluggish, but it's usually not a big deal. And every year in the past, for the last 10 years when I've done this, which again, besides the first time, which was a 7-day like this one is, the next couple of years are always a 3 to 5 day. And it's just a maintenance sort of thing to help kind of clear some garbage out of your body. Not a big deal. And by the time I'm at my 3rd day, I'm already done. And my body's kind of like, oh, so it wasn't as bad as I thought. This time yesterday, finished the stream, made a few phone calls, sent some emails, went and did all the animal stuff. And as I was walking back towards inside the house, the first thing that happened was I started having like a pressure and almost ringing in my ears. And I couldn't get rid of it. Sometimes I, try to clear the pressure in my ears or things like that. I mean, I've had ringing in my ears before, and it usually goes right away. But ringing in your ears and that sort of pressure is a sign of a blood pressure issue. And it was almost where I couldn't do anything. I could feel it. I could hear it. I couldn't hear anything around me. I started getting kind of dizzy. So I actually went and sat down on a log and just kind of sat there for a few minutes and thought, and like, okay, I wonder what this is. I wonder if it's blood pressure. When it finally seemed to subside. Now, it could have been blood pressure because there's a lot going on with work. There's a lot going on with doing work and trying to get this stream going and getting a stream going and not understanding any of what I'm doing and faltering. It could be, I don't know. It could be a lot of different things. I mean, the problem with high blood pressure or your blood pressure things is many things affect it. Food, exercise, not getting enough exercise, heart attack, um, you know, uh, stressing yourself out, lack of sleep, which I've also been getting. Last night, I think I went to bed at 2 o'clock in the morning and I get up at 4. So I got 2 hours sleep last night. A lot because I'm trying to read on how to set up this show using I'm setting up a YouTube, not going well. Trying to set up a Twitch, not going well. Trying to do my social media, and I'm doing both X, previous to Twitter. You're welcome. And Insta. Like I in order for Insta to be successful, I got to post pictures. I work all day. I do everything. I don't even know what pictures to take. So this is not a full-time this is not a full-time content creator job for me. So the idea that I have to try to figure this out in my early morning hours, in my evening hours, in between, and then go to work and try to handle all the work stress and work things I'm doing for the day. I told you guys I'm getting ready to travel. So I'm trying to get everybody's travel together. Hopefully Farm Don's joining us. I've got content creators joining us. We have 2 teams going to 2 different parts of the country to be doing 2 different things of content, which I'm trying to get both of those things done at the same time, as well as a video shoot that we're doing that we have to get up and running. We have to get figured out hopefully today or tomorrow. We have editing going on for other channels. So lots of stuff going on while we're trying to get it all done. We have products that we're getting ready to market and release. So pressure, high. That's not good for diabetes. That's not good for your blood pressure, but it's life. So we got to deal with this crap. So anyway, ringing in the ears. Oh my goodness, we got a first sign. Now, I said when I started this thing, and I'm being very loud right now, I'm just watching my numbers here, is that I am going to tell you what's going on with me. We're going to work through the process. If I fear that something is getting bad enough, I will take it to a doctor and then let you know what the results of the doctor are. The doctor's not going to do anything about my blood pressure. It only happened yesterday. If it hits me again today, I may schedule something. But right now, and I even don't know if it was my blood pressure. Here's an interesting thing. My youngest daughter, who just graduated this year, starting nursing school, she had to get her certificate. And I don't want to quote what she got and what she didn't get because I should show more of an interest. And I'm sure she's told me, but she went and was taking college classes while she was in high school, and whatever the first level of nursing school is and whatever certificate is, she was able to get that. And you have to do that before you start your RN program. I believe that's right. And so she's now getting ready to start, I believe, her RN program here in 2 weeks or something like that. But she's on the mend from a big surgery she had. She's a runner. She's a state qualified cross country runner, and she's also a state qualified track and field runner. She got injured. She decided to finish out her season and then go get the surgery, but she had to get that done at the beginning of the summer. So she was ready to start her school because you have to be mobile to do nursing school and be a nurse. So anyway, as part of her last set of qualifications to get into whatever next school she's in, she had to get her, learn how to take blood pressure and do a blood pressure kit and everything else. I have to talk to her today. She has that inside the house, and if I have this issue again, I'm going to ask her to check my blood pressure while I film. That way, if it does look like it's high, it can be shown on here and going to be part of discussion. If it's too high, then I will go to the doctor and see what they think. And I'm sure they're going to say, it's this crazy diet, it's your stress level, it's lack of sleep. Cut this shit out, get back to it. Actually pretty good. And so I went inside. I started sending a couple text messages and emails to partners and staff and investors and everything daily, typical morning stuff. And then all of a sudden, I stood up. The ringing wasn't happening, but got completely lightheaded, and it was like every ounce of energy dropped out of my body. It was like I had to sit down, and I was all of a sudden my body was exhausted, and it was like, yeah, you're not moving. And brain fog, massive brain fog. I was sitting there kind of just trying to figure, it's like, what's going on? What should I do? And normally as like we're talking here, I'm fairly quick. And I'm best in the morning. And then I drop during the evening. In the evening, I would say that, if you were the scale of 1 to 10, 10 being, oh my God, on your game, perfect focus and clarity, and 1 being you're comatose. In the mornings, I'm usually at probably an 8 on a regular basis, unless I'm really hitting it. And then in the evenings, I'm about a 6, maybe a 5. That's kind of how I drop down. And I felt like I was probably at a 3. So I gave it about half an hour, 45 minutes of just laying down, resting, got some more water and fluid in my body, because I was thinking maybe I'm just dehydrated and I am not getting the electrolytes and things I need in my body. Thought back to the day going, did I not get enough protein? Did I not do this? Why is this affecting me like it hasn't before? And I just decided to call it a day. I texted everybody and saying, I'm taking a rest day, and I'm still going to eat and do everything, but I'm not going to go exert myself. By about 8 or 9 o'clock at night, I felt like I was feeling pretty good. I made the mistake of opening up my emails and things like that, and they was packed. I mean, just packed. People saying, and a lot of them were vendors and partners and things like that I had to answer. You weren't on today, because these were people that they weren't staff or things like that, where I just said, hey, I'm taking a day off. They don't put that out to the general populace or partners or our companies we work with. But they were like, hey, we haven't heard from you today, or hey, we were waiting for this, or whatever it was. And I had to go back and say, hey, I had to reply to everybody. So that's why I was up till 2 o'clock in the morning. And then I got 2 hours sleep, and I'm hoping I'm not going to repeat it today. But starting today, which is day 3, I do get to add the extra elements that I didn't do on the first 2 days, which is basically pure broth, the bone broth, which is today I add a protein shake, which I showed you yesterday. I'm going with that vegan protein shake, which I've been reading the back of it. I'm pretty happy with it, but I haven't found another solution yet. I'm going with that. I went with, I found a condensed mineral powder that will add my minerals. That will go into an afternoon drink to replenish all my minerals and things like that. So protein shake today, partially real fruits, watermelon, that protein shake, and to go ahead and add some stuff to it that will help me pick up the proteins if that was part of the problem, and everything else today. And then another smoothie type drink this evening, but it will be primarily juice with some ice and the minerals that'll go in there. And the minerals have no flavor. Well, they have some flavor. I have to look at it, but it's not like berry or something like that. It's something mild, like a lemon. So whatever I mix with, it'll have to be very basic. But it was scary. My stomach, still having the gurgling and cramping in my stomach. I'm processing everything. I am feeling pretty good today. Friday still is weigh-in and blood check. That's kind of the plan. And hopefully, struggling through this stuff for 7 days. So that will be 5 days. So Friday when we check, that will be, actually it'll only be 4 now that I think about it. It'll be 4 days that we did the diet completely. Friday is the beginning of the 5th day, but we're going to be weighing in and checking on the 5th day. And then on Sunday broadcast, we'll recap what the whole next week looks like. but Monday morning is the next weigh-in, and that will be the results from the first week. If you remember what I thought I would be, I thought I would lose between 7 and 10 pounds this week by doing this diet. My blood levels was in the 200s when we test now, and that 200s is a 90-day blended average, right? That's kind of shows you your average over the 90 days. I would like to be down in the blood level of pre-diabetic when I test on Friday and on Monday. If it is, that's part of your 90-day spread, right? And so every day when you test, you want to be at that lower number. At the end of 90 days, if you were always at a 117, then your A1C should be at a lower level. It might not be at that because it takes the entire day into consideration instead of that snapshot that you're doing. But that's important, right? And then what we need to start planning is our exercise regimen, which will begin next week as we start adding physical non-liquid food back into our diet. The exercise regimen needs to be a combination of both weightlifting or working your body mass and making sure that we are getting a certain amount of cardio. Cardio not being as important. Cardio is important for your heart health and your respiratory and things like that. But as far as your diabetic levels, it's more important for me to get back into the working on my muscle mass. So we'll get into that. I did mention a couple days ago, and I confirmed it, that we will second. Sorry, I'm getting another storm alert. So it's one of the things that we have to take a look at is A, my hydration, B, start looking at the menus for next week, what types of things are healthy and things like that. And 3, I told you I need to find a really good protein powder in order to that's vegan and doesn't have a lot of chemicals in it, so I can go ahead and work through that. And I'll give you recommendations, but I can do. I don't have a significant amount of time to be researching this, even though this is for my health. So I talked to Billy Lutz, aka Trainer Club, and most people don't know this, but Billy has a master's in human nutrition and functional medicine from the University of Western States or something like that. And I'll be posting today. And he has, Billy's known for Pokemon Go. He's done some nutritional stuff on his YouTube on a separate channel. He now has an outdoor channel, which he's working with us on. And he wants to get back into the nutritional thing. Over the last year and a half, as I've been working with Billy, he has given me some great pointers, and my daughters some great pointers in order to accelerate their overall health and their healing from their surgeries. And I have taken that advice, and it has done me well. He is aware that these symptoms have popped back up and I'm having issues. I think he was probably as shocked as I was when I saw that my A1C was over an 11, and concerned. And so I have asked him to come on and join me and talk through potential what kind of things I should be looking at in a menu, potential what his recommendations are of good products that he uses or he recommends, because Billy is a step up from where I would be. He makes sure there's nothing in there that would affect your body. I'm okay with a certain percentage of chemicals or certain percentage of things in there, because making sure I have easy access to things is equally important to getting a product that Billy would get. I don't want to have to wait 3 months or have a lot of shipping costs or things like that. I live in rural Iowa. My access to everything is GNC or Amazon, and not everything is available on Amazon. And a lot of the time, shipping times are horrible to get out here, especially in the winter. So I want to be able to have a sustainable lifestyle. And I don't always think that is easily done via the products that are available online. Therefore, I need to do a better job of using more organic, natural products like carrots and things like that I can grow, or I can living out in the country, in a rural area and in a part of the Midwest that everybody grows everything, access to stuff at farmers markets and everything else is great. Things store well. I can process things and have it ready for long term. So we got to kind of just figure out that balance. And I asked Billy to come on and join us. He has agreed. That show will be done tomorrow, Thursday, at 7 p.m. CST. Not everybody, especially Billy living on the West Coast, wants to get up at 4 or 5 in the morning in order to joining a morning show. So I think when I bring guests on, this is the evolution of what I'm doing, is I'm going to sorry, this is another thing I told you I'm going to have to practice, is answering chat while I'm doing this. I have to get this set up so I can read the chats and figure this out. Lost my train of thought there. The shows. So if I want to get Farm Dawn on, he's in the Midwest, but still coming on at 7 o'clock in the morning and getting on before he has to go to work. He can listen, he can watch. Thanks for asking that question, Farm Dawn. People I think will watch and participate. I look at this as almost like a podcast where you got to look at my ugly mug. I'm a talking head. I'm going to talk. I'll bring people on occasionally. I'll show some additional videos. I'll do things, but you can listen to this as you're driving, or I'm hopefully going to learn how to turn this into a podcast on YouTube. But that should be easily done. Bringing a guest on in an environment where it's conducive for them. What I'm thinking is Thursdays is going to be guest day. On Thursdays, we'll bring the guest in at 7 p.m. So I'll broadcast twice that day, 7 a.m., 7 p.m. Makes it easy to remember. And we will, maybe I'll do mocktails. Maybe instead of coffee, I'll do a, coffee martini. I don't know. Do I look like I would drink a martini? Coffee beer. Although I still can't do that because I'm going to be in the diabetic phase of the first 90 days. So I can't even drink beer. So sad. But the idea is I'll bring Billy in. We'll have a conversation over the hour about my needs. First, bringing in protein. It's a very important conversation to have this week, because while I'm using this really generic protein pre-mix shakes right now to get me through the week on the liquid diet, it's pre-measured, and it's really just to make sure I get the very basics. I would like to get a good protein source that I can use for either cooking or having, adjusting my diets and doing different things and mixing the shakes and things like that. It's more optimal if you can get that protein powder, either non-flavored or a mix of flavors that you can. Strawberry doesn't work when you're cooking unless you're making a dessert, right? There's things that you have to do if you want to try to get this as part of your diet. And I've got to get that built back up. So the goal is I would like to have it all organic. I would like to have it vegan if possible. One of the questions I need to ask Billy is whether whether he believes that it's better for a diabetic, and I'm going to do some of this research myself, whether whey protein or peanut protein. I don't have peanut allergies, so that would work for me. There's so many different forms of protein out there. It's confusing, but not all of them are necessarily the best method for a diabetic. And after we ask him, the goal will be to go out there and ping some other people. I've been trying to start building up a network base, both on X and YouTube and things like that, of medical experts in the diabetic realm. And I'm trying to pick them where they all have a little slightly different perspective on there, and be able to send them text messages and say, I'll call you out and your thing on the show and say, hey, Dr. Farm Don from such and such, and is a, blah, 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 blah physician, says that whey protein is bad for diabetics. But then, Dr. Pops, came on and said, whey protein is great. We think that's the best one. You should avoid peanut protein, or, horse hoof protein, or whatever the hell, that's out there at that point. Opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one. But, we have to, I do want that information, because if this show does get popular, if I can help diabetics, even, I'm not the expert. All I am is the guinea pig. And what I'd love for people to come on this show is just watch and say, I'm having issues too. And I'm glad that you spent $75 on protein powder, so I didn't have to. Or I appreciate you spending $100 on Rise, $52 for the first set. Then I ordered some more, so far, because, and you said, yeah, it was good, but I didn't feel any effects. So you don't have to, right? The goal is not everybody has the money or even wants to spend the money. I believe everybody wants to beat their diabetes, but, when it's eat cheaply or just take medication because your medical insurance covers it, or if my medical insurance didn't cover it, but I didn't have to take insulin or metformin or 100 other drugs, and I could keep my A1C down and live a healthy lifestyle and be happy, I would spend the extra money. I'd go get a second job at McDonald's and start the next generation of diabetics. That's on air now. That's captured for perpetuity. That's a horrible thing to say, but the point is, I would get a second job. We're coming up at the end of the show. I'm going to try to cut it off there. So I will post the time with Billy. The other thing I'm just going to say really quickly is I told you I need to start doing a healthy lifestyle. I do play Pokemon Go, which is probably going to, people are going to, some of the people who might do this go, Pokemon Go, what's that? We'll have that thing out there. I will probably bring in the following week some Pokemon Go people. I did some research. Hydration's important. Exercise is important. But Pokemon Go, if you play it right and you use it as a distraction, can actually help with our diabetes. And not just Pokemon Go, music, playing Frisbee, whatever. The point is, if you can get out and you can find a thing that you enjoy, like I cannot go walk for 2 hours. I know people, I have good friends that get up every morning and go walk for 2 hours. They live in a beautiful area. They just walk the park and they can do it. They can have music in their ears, listen to a podcast, whatever, and they can go walk for 2 hours or an hour, have a great time, get that exercise and everything else. I cannot do that. I get too easily distracted. I give up. I don't want to do it. The military, even in the military, for a lot of people, the reason you sing cadence and you do things is to get you mentally in with everybody else and you drone on. I need that. Music doesn't always do it. Pokemon Go does. Farm Dawn, all of us, we go to events all the time, and we'll spend an 8 or 10 or 12-hour day running all over the place, putting miles on the pedometer and logging things and catching Pokemon. And I don't even realize I did it until I look and go, holy crap, look how much I walked. Right. I need to do that on a daily basis. I have not been walking my dogs as much as I should. I don't do that. So I think I'm going to split up my day. I'm going to try to get up in the morning, play Pokemon Go, and do a long set of walks there doing Pokemon. I'll film that. I can stream that. And then in the evenings, do a short walk with both of my dogs, short walk being like a half a mile or a mile each. So I'm again working my body before I go to bed. But Pokemon Go is going to come into this storyline partially. So during that hour, and maybe even now we're talking about daily, I might stream like that walk on there. People might not want to watch it, but it might be fun just to record, or maybe I'll record it and just put it as highlights at the beginning of the show. I still have 3 Master Balls. Most people won't know what that means because I haven't caught any of the Galarian birds yet. So yeah, who knows? It could be fun. All right, guys. Thank you very much for watching again. Bubba, this is Coffee with Bubba. The idea here is Daily Koffee Klatch, talk about anything. Again, spill a little tea, drink a little coffee, try to have a good day, and try to find a way to inform you on the things I'm doing to fight diabetes naturally. Hopefully, this will be a good information. If not, this is all being caught for posterity. I can't remember. That this is the good thing is you have all these bloopers. And each day this is getting better. So I added a couple things. I confirmed yesterday that this is posting to YouTube. But there's a whole lot of things on the new YouTube channel. I guess I need to kind of cover that, start covering that on the show. I'll make a little banner for it. If you want to follow me on X, it's just at OG Bubba Da Vinci, one word. On Insta, same thing, at OG Bubba Da Vinci. And then on YouTube, guess what? It's OG Bubba Da Vinci. If you're watching on Twitch, thank you. I'm going to be doing a drive to try to hit my numbers to get affiliate. When you get affiliate, you can do a lot more things with your screen. Right now at the base level, can't do crap. And again, as I start bringing in these other experts, I hope this really does become a show to talk about healthier lifestyles, things like that. Billy's really good at this. I know Farm Don has wanted to work on things like that. Alexa, who's also a part of our team, tries to eat healthier and things like that. We've got a good crew, good people. I believe I'm the only one that's diabetic. I'm sure the other 3 are not, but this is something that people should strive to do just to be healthy. And so, all right, let's get to it. Have a good day. Hope that your day is good to the last drop. It's an old Folders commercial. So cheers, take care, and we'll talk to you soon.